Make sure you catch my show at 11 o'clock. Here, Revolution, and then top it off with the round table. All right, guys. What happened? Chat? I didn't add nobody to the back chat. All right, let me go ahead and get this up. Well, all right, hold on. In a world where secret societies make all the rules and distort the law to benefit a small group of elite to secure world domination, one man will step out of the shadows and into the truth to defy them with no more than a microphone, a bag of weed, and a soundboard of Super Mario Brothers, ever ready to stand against the forces. All right, well, hello, welcome to the Truth Files. This is your host, Rupert. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to start off the Truth Files the same way we always do with the pot news. That is, if my audio is cooperating. This is Informed Radio, and I again am your host, Rupert, coming to you live from Charlottesville, Virginia, where it is nice outside, and I'm inside to bring you this fantastic broadcast today. We do have a special guest coming up. Many of you probably know exactly who that is. And we actually have two guests today as guests, other than the advert. So thank you, everybody, for joining us here on Informed Radio for this today's episode of The Truth Files, which has been months in the making. And let's see here. Very good. We're cooking with butter, of course, here on the Truth Files. For those of you who don't know about the Truth Files, the first thing we do each and every day on the Truth Files is we cover the pot news. Let's do it. Step right up. Step right up. Step right up. All right, wasn't that fun? So what we do is we look at the state of cannabis in the country, America. We have many overseas guests and listeners, so I should be more specific. We just look at what's going on with cannabis everywhere. You can follow along on Google if you like. I will take a look at pot headlines. Up to the minute pot news, which is weird. It's kind of like a police scanner for pot, if you will. You can narrow the field of search on your Google News. Police say a suspect was growing marijuana along school grounds. He said he was growing. They say he was growing 11 marijuana plants, more than $3,000 worth. I love how they always like to put a dollar sign on every single plant that they dig up and destroy for no reason. This has happened again. We covered this before. Canada bears may have been used to guard marijuana garden. Well, that's just a logical extension at this point. I mean, why not hire the bears? Hire the bears to guard your pot. Bears make great pot guards, apparently. Some other people were using alligators. I'm working on a weird monkey-kangaroo combination. Let's see how that works out. Sheriff Baca's pot dispensaries are a crime target. Wow, Sheriff Baca. Wow, buddy, you're really on top of things. What, was it the, murders that have been happening at these places that tipped you off? Let's see here, moving right along with the pot news. It's hard to keep all these little windows straight. I got little windows everywhere. Flying along on the Millennium Falcon is what I affectionately call the laptop through which I am broadcasting at this particular moment. She doesn't look like much, but she's got it where it counts. She's really old, and the fact that she still works is amazing considering the action she's seen. New Mexico property firm makes policy on medical marijuana. Sheriff's office seizes marijuana crop in Genoa Township. It's in Delaware. 200 large marijuana plants. That's fun to say. 200. Wait, let's try that again. 200 large marijuana plants. That's nice. And marijuana, by the way, is a derogatory phrase. It's Mexican slang that wasn't even that popular at the time, but got turned into something because it looks scary, especially if you replace the J with an H to make it marijuana. It's a ghastly looking word. Cannabis is its real name, so it's kind of any service by not calling it by its real name. Case for medical marijuana. South Dakota voters this fall will be asked for the second time whether marijuana should be legal for medicinal purposes. Seems like there's two tiers to this. There's medicinal and then everybody wants it. Ooh, here's a good one. Legalize it. Mexico City. Mexico marijuana smokers gather. With the nation in the throes of a violent drug war, over 200 people gathered in a central Mexico City park Saturday to smoke marijuana and to, I guess he's going to say, I can't dig into all these folks, but that they're all out there trying to get the word out to make marijuana legal. Thanks a lot, all you nice Mexican people down there, for standing up for Mary Jane. It's 6:08 informed radio time. I am suspect about our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest has not appeared on my list yet. He should have been here. He still has a few minutes. We do have a second guest for you, and if Mr. Charles Vietch decides that he has something better to do than come on the show, even though... Wait, I think he just popped on. There he is. All right, as soon as right as I was talking about him, he popped on. All right, so it looks like he will be here. Time for realistic laws governing marijuana. That's a reader's view off the 420 Times. I agree. It's high time that someone changed the way that we're doing things. Sorry, I'm trying to arrange for our guests to be on. It's hard to talk and type at the same time. All right, sorry guys. Yeah, sorry. It's hard to do all this stuff. I don't have anybody in the studio with me today. I don't have any help. Marijuana heist leads to triple murder in West Hollywood. Detectives say, yeah. Well, when people are making money off of it, people are going to kill each other over it. It's just the way it is. Oh, Gilbert Arenas, captain of the NBA all-fail team. They're going to name people on the all-fail team, I guess, if you smoke pot. So you're going to be a bad person for smoking pot now in the eyes of the sporting media. The sporting media. Let's see. Holy crap. Over this weekend in New Mexico, Border Patrol agents in southwestern New Mexico seized marijuana worth over $345,000. That's quite a bit of dollars. Two arrested after hotel meth lab discovery. What is it about hotels and meth labs? Like, what? I don't get it. Does the meth pay for the hotel room after that time is up? Sounds like an investment. You got to have all that equipment. All right. Two arrested after the hotel meth lab discovery. I just don't get that. Who's going to do meth anymore? Man dies following marijuana raids in Michigan. God! Pointed a shotgun at his daughter-in-law and confiscated 20 marijuana plants. Let's look at this in depth a little bit. I always like try to zoom in on one of them. This was 30 minutes ago. The 420 Times seems to be a good outlet for pot news, up to the minute pot news even. They must be doing the same thing. One of the owners of the homes recently raided in Michigan has died. Sal Agro, a 67-year-old man, along with his sons, ran the clinical relief facility in Ferndale, I guess, what's M-I? I can't think. Missouri? No, that's Mo. It's Michigan. Oh my, there's somebody ringing. According to a video made by Agro, we got some backline stuff going on here, folks. Sorry about that. Still continuing with this man die. Why did he die? What the heck is going on? Criminy. All right. All right. I guess there's about what's going on with this guest. Hang on. Come on. Hi. Come on, CV.
Hello.
All right, everybody on the back line, mute your mic. We'll have... Let me finish up with the pot news. Anyway, according to a video made by this guy before he died, police used tactics. The masked officers destroyed portions of his home, pointed a shotgun at his daughter-in-law, and confiscated 20 marijuana plants. God dang it, man. We keep losing him. All right, I'm gonna end the I'm gonna end the pot news now. That poor guy died when they raided his house. That was the pot news.
Hello.
Making me a nervous wreck over here. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the pot news. And without further ado, a man who almost needs no introduction at all. I'm going to have a very relaxed chat with this gentleman. Everybody who interviews him always seems to, things get so serious. Let's try to keep it light over here today, folks. Charlie Vietch, you know him from his videos online and his efforts to open the minds of people in the streets using a bullhorn. I'm actually going to audio capture some of this, so without further ado, Mr. Charlie Vietch, are you on the line with us at this?
I am indeed. Hello.
Hey, Charlie. All right, buddy. So, are you over there in England today, man?
Yeah, I'm here in London, in rainy London. It's the end of summer. It's cold. It's wet. It's miserable. It's just how I love it.
Yeah, I've been over there. Luckily, it didn't rain the whole time, but it does stay pretty cloudy.
It certainly does.
All right, sir. I want to start with some maybe weirder stuff, and then we'll move on to some other things. I spent the time that you were coming on to get questions from people to ask you, so we'll ask some listener questions. Again, you're listening to Charlie Vietch on Informed. Thanks for coming, man. Let's talk Hunter Thompson for a second, since you and I are always bantering back and forth about that guy. I want to read an excerpt from a piece of a David Icke book, and then get you to say what you think about it. Hunter S. Thompson, in his book Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Well, of course I lose it. Excuse me. Just one second. Anyway, you remember how he's walking around in that casino? He describes seeing reptiles in a drugged condition, and this is Icke speaking now, and a guy I met in the United States told me a similar story. He tripped on large amounts of LSD in the 1960s, and in his he would see people as humans and some other people as humanoid lizards and other reptiles. For a while he believed he was merely hallucinating, but as a regular tripper at high doses, he began to realize that what he was seeing, usually by the third day of a 5-day trip, was not a hallucination, but the vibratory veils lifting, which allowed him to see beyond the physical to the force controlling the person. When I found that, I was like, that I didn't even think about that, but that scene in the movie, you know the one.
Are you speaking to me, yeah?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, of course I know the one. Whether it's vibrational lizards from a different dimension, or whether it's just our own imagination, using the age-old things which we have an instinct to be scared of, such as spiders or snakes. We have an instinctual caveman fear of snakes. I mean, I also think, demons tend to take on a kind of reptile form because, again, it's the age-old fear of snakes mixed in with some religious mythology. And I was actually at a festival recently with Silky, and I was getting very, very stoned, very high in this guy's tent. And before my eyes, and not just to myself, he started turning into a goblin, of those scary goblins from Lord of the Rings that tries to invade the palaces of light or whatever. And this transformation happened before I was very stoned. And I don't know if anyone here listening has ever tried acid. I think it's incredibly, incredibly, absolutely fine to do it like it is to have a cigarette or drink a beer. And I've connected to some very strange things whilst in that state as well. So I can fully understand where Hunter S. Thompson is coming from. And I've been in situations like that in hotel lobbies where I definitely needed some golf shoes just to get through the muck of the blood from the animals ripping each other to pieces.
Definitely, man, and you definitely want to take an extra pair of golf shoes, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're listening, to Las Vegas with you, because the floor with blood occasionally. That's funny. I personally waited a very long time to ever try any MDMA, and when I did, I mingled with some beings. It was pretty out there. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, but if you have the wherewithal and the constitution, yeah, go ahead. Eat up. All right. Kind of a potpourri of things I wanted to ask you, so we'll try to around.
Potpourri.
What'd you say?
A potpourri. How nice.
Yes, it's a veritable potpourri of things we could talk about. The one thing would be your recent video talking about your kind of a change in mood with you. You know, the one you're sitting down outside talking. That came out the other day. Seemed to coincide with some very public issues between you and your significant other. I don't like to make it my business, but it seemed like everywhere I went on the internet for the past 3 or 4 days, it seemed like people were talking about that. Do you want to say anything about your really public relationship, but you don't have to if you don't want to?
Fuck you. Ask me another question.
I thought you might say something like that. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, and then you just released a video the other day that I found quite interesting. You have a new enterprise. Would you like to tell us about your new enterprise?
As we connect with our friends at the CIA and other assorted evil people, the Luciferian satanic powers of the universe take lots of mushrooms together and then hold hands in one big daisy dark, and then go and chase goblins in the 5th dimension and film it, put it on camera, and give it to people. It's a bit of a joke, but, you know, if some people want to hire me, that's fine.
Dude, I'm definitely down for some of that action.
Well, it's kind of like the spiritual A-team. I don't even know if I take it seriously myself, but, you know, it's sometimes I sit here and think I can either get a job in an office or, you know, join some other industry, which is just going to help keep the state going, or I can just do something really absurd and try and, you know, stay afloat.
Are you rolling a spliff?
How the fuck did you know that?
Well, one, we're kind of like psychic brothers, and I just be knowing, man.
Dude, you've got my video on, haven't you? You're watching me do this right now.
You know what? I'm not that good. My computer is more than 6 years old.
Dude, are you the FBI watching me masturbate?
I heard your papers. Head. You think I don't know what that sounds like? That's my shit right there. All right, so running around with the goblins, I guess. I was kind of taken aback by your giant blue pentagram. How are you going to explain that one to us?
Well, that's really just to upset the Christians. That's the only reason I do that. I think they're very funny people, very fun to troll, and they have this fixation. Pentagrams are evil, when in fact the gatekeepers, the high priests that have infiltrated Christianity and turned it into a mind control operation, want you to stay away from key aspects of the occult, which might help you gain a deeper understanding about reality itself and sacred geometry and how. So when you're going to, brainwash lots of people so that they fall a resurrected Jewish zombie called Jesus, you got to keep them away from some age-old sacred shapes such as the pentagram. And the fact that it points downwards, it kind of looks like a goat if you kind of draw a goat on it. But again, that's just to infuriate the more religious amongst us. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord, indeed. I just think I don't know. The line is a little bit blurry there for me. You're gonna ward off evil, but I guess you're trying to fight fire with fire.
Rupert, you're not for 1 second thinking these shapes and forms actually have any real power, are you?
Not over you and me, but over the general public, perhaps they might.
What, you're saying we're better than the general public?
I'm not saying better than, but we might be a little bit more informed. I mean, who are you bullhorning then?
Dude, did you just admit to being a Satanist?
No. No, just because you used a blue. That's my point. Just because you use a blue pentagram doesn't make you a Satanist, and that's your point as well.
My point is to also take away any of the mysticism or any, you know. Yeah, anyone can use them. Anyone can put them anywhere. You can get them on, children's boxer shorts now, pentagrams. There's no real danger there. Things only have power if you give them power, much like voodoo and black magic only works when the person is terrified of it, and so it gives them a heart attack because they believe in it.
Yeah, there's skulls on my clothes, but it's a cute little skull with a bow on its head.
It's from my little devil. Look at my little devil, honey. Look how cute he is.
I think it's funny how you see that on little kids. And I saved it. I'm actually holding it right now. It's a Happy Valentine's Day card, but it has this purple, cute-looking skull and crossbones on it. I don't understand how Halloween is becoming Christmas and Valentine's Day is becoming Halloween. It's getting very confused. I feel like Jack Skellington all of a sudden.
Yeah, man, I'm confused by the passing of the ages. Every day feels like my own personal 2012, and it's just too much. What are we gonna do, Rupert?
Seriously, let's since you said that, let's shift gears into Jade, because I want to use part of this conversation to we're going to begin to expose what's going on with him. And I understand what you mean, and I don't know if you know that I know that you know that I know what you mean. I do that sometimes. I know what you mean by your own personal 2012. Like, I'm constantly confronted with temptation or evil, or I feel like one heck of an observer. I've seen so much. Let's shift gears. Mr. Jade is a friend of ours, and we met him when Mr. Vietch went to Canada for the G20. He bunked up with Mr. JD there in Toronto. Recently, Mr. JD was, thrown into a... It's really... He's here. He's actually here.
What?
Anyway, Jade is in a psych ward right now, all joking aside. His father has him there. He told them that he was afraid that JD was going to jump off the balcony, which he's obviously not. But Jade has turned his eyes upward towards lights and UFOs in the sky, which are being videotaped more and more now. And also his theories about reincarnation, and he's mentioned that he thinks he is actually maybe the reincarnation of a deity, and he thinks he has found others as well that are reincarnations of saints. When you think about that in terms of sheeple status, it's kind of hard to grasp it. It's like, oh, you're crazy. But if you look around, everyone else is trying to be Joe Montana football player and Lady Gaga and America's top model. So pretending you're John the Baptist kind of a little bit tame in comparison. Charles, that's a big chunk of info, but what do you reincarnation Jade in a psych ward?
Well, the thing is, first of all, is he okay with us talking about him on the radio like this?
Yes. Yeah, it's fine. I have his Facebook password. Like, it's so okay.
Let me just click my fingers, sit back here, take a deep toke, and say what I really think, then.
Okay, I'll take a toke with you, then. Let's share a toke on the air, shall we?
Oh.
Here we are, an informed radio moment just for you folks out there. It's me and Charlie Vietch smoking marijuana.
Well, I was lucky enough to I was lucky enough to spend a week with Jade or JD in Toronto, and he does have, an apartment, a flat. We call them here in the UK. You guys know we call it flats, even though they're not flat. We call them flat. Anyway, as I was saying, he does have a very nice balcony, and I would quite happily jump off it if the time was right, but the time isn't right for Jaden. He's not crazy. And if he's crazy, then I need the men in white coats to come bursting through my door and take me away as well. I mean, I see some crazy shit. He's just lucky enough to see it when he's sober. So, because of the industry we're in, where there's a lot of, alternative ways of viewing the planet, when he came to me and told me that he felt he was the reincarnation of St. John the Baptist and that, he was going to take us all to heaven, that just sounded like stoner chat to me.
It does, doesn't it? But I don't really know what to say about it. My biggest problem with the whole scenario is that, so what? He's obviously not a danger to himself, at least not to us he's not. And he's not hurting anybody. So what if he thinks he's Charlie Chaplin reincarnate? So
In the dark with my blindfolds on, with my hands covered in Vaseline. It's actually a very good skill I've been using to fight the New World Order. But I learned absolutely nothing in the armed forces except that anyone... I consider myself to be an above-average intelligence person. I consider myself to be quite clever. I fully bought the propaganda, and it was about the environment I grew up in and the people I was with, and I was fully plugged in, deeply ashamed of it. It's embarrassing to see photographs or footage from that time, but luckily the Illuminati reptilian CIA agents took me down into their back cave underneath the CIA headquarters at Langley in Virginia, on my indoctrination, and I got sent out into the truth opposition, and I get paid $50,000 a month just to provide this controlled opposition, and my job really is to try and bring all you peaceful people into an armed revolution to ensure the full lockdown and the full entry into the technotronic scientific dictatorship where we will only need 1 billion people. And we've decided at the council at the CIA, we can do this through sterilization, we can do this through poisoning people, through chemtrails, but we found the ultimate sport, like one giant gladiatorial coliseum called Earth, would be just to kind of get everyone really angry, create lots of false oppositions here and there, divide and conquer, and let you guys fight it out for yourselves. What do you think?
Well, I guess it depends on if you have money or not. I mean, do you want to sit in the stands for this? 50K, is that all?
I know. I thought it was going to be a lot more expensive, but I'm quite cheap.
It's not cheap to live in London, dude. You must be doing commercials for Raisin Bran or whatever kind of crap y'all have over there.
No, I'm gay for pay at the weekends. I've got a sore ass, man.
Oh my God, this could only get better from here on out. Let's see. How much money are you pilfering from people? That's the.
How much?
What?
Enough to scrape by, but it sucks. Finance. If I was a little bit more evil, I would just go back into finance, but I can't because there is some good in me, and so I scrape by. And when I say I scrape by, I am in dire financial straits, and that's not an exaggeration. I'm FUCK AED. But I did it to myself, and there's no way you can do 180 films and maintain over a year of filmmaking and editing and the kind of psychic price you pay for that with all the arrests and so forth, and hold down the job at the same time. So I figured the only way I could do it would be to almost turn it into a kind of very open, very honest way where if people aren't entertained or inspired or spiritually touched by what I do, then send even $1, because why would you send that to someone you didn't support? So in a way, it's kind of like a pay-per-view channel where if you don't like it, you don't pay. And if you've got the means, then please throw a couple of dollars my way. I'm shaking my tin can. I'm doing it right now. It's quite embarrassing, but it's kept me afloat so far, and I'm happy doing it. But I do. It's not a long-term, way of living. I can't, be here at the age of 45 shaking my tin can. I know some people can. Alan Watt, cutting through the Matrix over in Canada, he does it, and he survives okay. And he's a lot older than 45, but it's not for me. I want to give something back, and I feel uncomfortable because it is begging. It's basically begging, and I admit that.
Yeah, the life of the it's kind of like being a musician. Musicians are notorious for being couch crashers, and they're really good at, like you said, scraping by. I've done it, and I know what you're saying about the making like 25 or 30, and maybe only 7 or 8 that required intensive editing. And call him back. Sorry, I've got another guest coming up. That phone call into the studio just totally derailed my train of thought. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Charlie, would you agree to come back and do this again at some point?
Of course I would, Rupert. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been very lighthearted, which is, I think, the way it should be. Because let's not all kid ourselves, and this is what kind of gets me every day. If reality is fractal and holographic, if we are merely the imagination of ourselves in this crazy dance between perception, imagination, and projection into the matrix, how do we know that anything is actually real, that any of the problems actually matter on an infinite cosmic scale? It could be the case that this is the test. Evil exists because evil has always existed, and it's in our position internally that we can change ourselves, and by definition, because we're changing our perception, change the entire world. So this is what I meant by that video where I kind of said, I don't want to do Love Police. And I said, I'm not 100% sure of what I do. And I got to that point where it feels totally absurd. So this is my very long tangent sideways coming around to answer your question, which is yes, I'd love to come back on to your lighthearted, informed radio.
Thanks a lot, man. We'll try to maybe you can help with the Jade situation in the coming days. Like, I have to call him here soon and see what's going on with him, but maybe we can get you to lend a hand with him, because I really feel bad that he's in there. He's not very happy. I'll post.
What can we do?
What's that?
What can we do?
Well, you have a built-in audience, so I will be sure to, as soon as I talk to him, I will Facebook message you and give you an update, and we'll go from there. I'll tell you what he says and all that kind of crap.
Sounds good, man.
So,
sounds good.
Okay. I can't thank you enough. It took me, I had to threaten you with violence and feeding you soul food and turning you loose in the woods for a month to get you here. Thank you so much for coming, and I will be in touch with you very soon. Peace, man.
Peace, and thank you, and...
Hang on a minute. I want to ask you a question, Charlie Vietch.
Oh, it's Ziggy.
Hey, Ziggy.
Flooding.
Right. I'm not happy with you. You just said on the radio you were so hard up. Why did you fire the lawyer I got you?
I didn't fire him, Ziggy. I left him a voicemail saying that if he still wanted to represent me, I gave him both my phone numbers he could reach me at. And he
well, the thing is, Charlie, he tried to get hold of you. We live in Canada. You live in United Kingdom, right? I want to know, why did you fire him? Because you make me look like a jerk. And then I beg you for help, and you turn your fucking back on me when I helped you.
Ziggy, I told you not to do this.
I don't care what you told me. I want to know the truth.
I told her not to do this. I begged
That's
everybody
right.
not to.
I want to know the truth.
Ziggy,
if he's
I'm
such a big man,
interrupt.
he should. He's supposed to have guts.
Send him a
Now, you talk to a woman and you... Now, you tell me.
All right. I'm sorry about that, Charlie. I asked her not to do that, and she did it anyway. I'm sorry. This happens sometimes. Every time I get somebody on that people listen to, people get a little beside themselves and start... She was pretty upset, so that's something to say to you. She can send you a message or something. My apologies.
No, hey, man, like some... I know people are probably very interested to know what happened. Basically, I was given 3 lawyers when I was, I was arrested at the airport and taken to the station. I was given 3 lawyers, the kind of lawyer that was there. And my sister got me a lawyer, and Ziggy got me a lawyer as well. And I ended up going with Ziggy's lawyer. It's amazing. She was there. She picked a car, took me away. And I did voicemail for that. If you want to represent me, get in touch. And I did voicemail him. He didn't get in touch. And then other lawyers in Canada wrote to me saying that I could get Clayton Ruby, who is like the most famous human rights lawyer. So I was put between a rock and a hard place. Of course, I was going to go with what was best for me. And that is no, bad look on Ziggy. And Ziggy, I completely disagree with you. Nobody, you helped me. And then I just had to do what was best after that. And I just, I'm sorry you feel so angry about that.
She did actually drop off. She's pretty upset. And ladies and gentlemen, there's two sides to every story. So let's always remember this when we get paranoid and we get all this kind of stuff. Charlie, I have another guest coming up, so I'm going to walk you off now. And I will be in touch with you. And thank you so much for showing up and being a very gracious guest.
No problem, Rupert. All the best.
Talk to you later, buddy. Hey, and don't take any guff from these swine, all right?
Yeah, these people killed Jesus.
Yeah, and they voted for Hubert Humphrey, didn't they?
Yeah, see you later.
Bye, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Charles Vietch. Thanks, everybody, for riding along, and Ziggy got to get her little bit out there. It is 6:41 Informed Radio time. Thank you so much, Mr. Charlie Vietch, for joining in. I am going to have another guest come up real quick if I can get his number in here. He'd be on 5 minutes ago. Let's hope he's still by the phone. He is Robert Morrow. He is going to plug a book. We'll have him up in on here. This is Texas Flood. It just, oh my God. Come on, Stevie.